Hello, and welcome to another episode of Jackson Talks. Everybody, with me, your host, Jackson Stone. This is episode number 54 of Jackson Talks. Everybody, I am recording today on Wednesday, May 19th. And if you're a continued listener of Jackson Talks, everybody, you know I'm about 3 to 4 weeks out whenever I record, just so I have enough content and pods to release an episode every Tuesday. But I am excited to share some of this information that I have kind of planned out for you today. If you're unfamiliar with Jackson Talks, everybody, we are a podcast, hosted by me, Jackson Stone. Episodes drop every Tuesday. You can go to jacksontalkseverybody.com for all previous episodes. You're either going to catch one of 3 episodes. You're going to have a conversation episode where I have a guest on, and it's a long chain conversation about who they are, where they come from, how they got to where they are, usually speaking about the mindset or mental health, or professional wrestling or sports. And then I do Everybody's Hotline, which happens once or so every month, kind of doing it not as often now, but it's an episode where I have a phone number open for 1 hour, and I receive phone calls from anyone who may call in. We have conversations, they ask things, I answer things. It's just another way to create deeper connection and meaning in these relationships that I have with people that view and watch my show. And then I'm going to start doing a lot more solo episodes. These solo episodes are going to be tight. They're going to be anywhere between 15 and 30-minute episodes. And I'm just going to discuss kind of a few pieces of information that I've been studying that week, or that I talked about in my newsletter, which happens every Friday. If you go to jacksonstone.net, you can receive that newsletter in your inbox every Friday. Maybe it's something that I'm discussing on that newsletter, or something that I'm discussing on my Mental Health Monday newsletter, or maybe it's something that I read or listened to on a podcast that I want to kind of dive in deeper here with you, my listeners, my friends, and my fans. And so that's kind of what going to be the solo episodes about. And then obviously I will still have guests on, but I'm getting a bit more selective of those guests because I really want to have insightful conversation that resonates with the people that view this show on a regular basis, and hopefully to attract more people to come to this show, to start engaging with this community a little bit more, because I love this community. I'm grateful for what we have, but it's time to expand. It's time to grow. And so, yeah, that's kind of the rundown of that a little bit before we get into it. I'm wearing my new shirt, though, Press Ahead, which can be found on jacksonstone.net. New merch there all the time. And if you really want to support the cause or the podcast, go to my Patreon, sign up for a tier. Let's get to know each other. Let's really get to know each other. So sign up there. Let's create some more connection. Let's have fulfilling conversations. And so there's that, some housekeeping stuff for that. But I'm excited to get into this information that I have for you today. But I want to check in. I want to check in with you, the viewer, the person that's listening to this right now. Check in. Take a little inventory of yourself right now. So pause this episode and really ask and take an inventory about your life. How are you feeling? What do you need more of? What do you need less of? Rate that on a scale. Give yourself some measurable things, because the things that are measurable are manageable, and we can measure a lot of things in our life. It's not that we need to be like systematic about everything, but when it comes to our mental health and how we feel and regulating our emotions, it's important to check in and take that inventory. So check in with yourself, and then depending on how much space and room you have left, go be of service to others, because karma is part of our biology. Life is a circle, so what we give comes back to us. It's the law of reciprocity, I think it's how you say it. But so go be of service to others. Even on our worst days, we can make someone's day, and that in turn flips our day around as well. So it's, again, karma is in our biology. So whatever we give or whatever we're trying to become is what we attract into our lives. And so I say do that right now, and really ask yourself how you're doing for real, and what you may need to get yourself up or to continue on this process that you're on, and how you can and be of service to someone else in their lives. If we want to receive more love, we first have to give more love, and that goes with anything, and the relationships that we cultivate and the social connection and the bonds that we have. Those are so important, and we got to keep cultivating the deep inside relationship so that we can have really good, meaningful, deep relationships with others. So that's first. Do that, check in, get that done, and then come back to me. I got a few things that I want to touch on for maybe the next 10-15, and then we'll go from there. So I want to talk about sleep. Sleep, I think, is a tool that is wildly overlooked in terms of peak performance. So I do a lot of coaching with athletes in general, whether they're high school, youth, or college athletes. I work with them on mindset, the mental skills, the mental performance, the mental well-being, because all of the mental skills are trainable skills. Just like how you get bigger, stronger, faster, you're working on your nutrition, you can do sets and reps for what's going on upstairs as well. And that's how you really become a high performer or peak performer in whatever area or domain that you exist in. And so what doesn't really get touched on a lot, I think, in our society is sleep, because we have this grind mentality. We're kind of celebrated for not sleeping, for working all day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're celebrated for exhaustion. We're celebrated for burnout. And I think there's a big misconception there about actually what hard work means. And I'm sure you've heard the saying or the phrase, right? If you're not working smart, you're not really working hard, you're just doing it to do it. And so I think sleep is what is a secret ingredient we're missing in terms of becoming that peak performer or best version of ourselves. Because undersleeping and underslept exhaustion is toxic. It's toxic for your body, for your mind, for your soul, for everything. There's actual research behind this, that undersleeping and undervaluing sleep and not getting enough rest has compound downstream long-term effects on our health. And so, yes, to become peak, to become elite, to become the best version of yourself, right, you have to work hard. I think that's a prerequisite to anything that you do in life. So no matter what I say going forward, you have to work hard. And whatever that means to you and whatever domain you exist in, you have to work hard in that space. If you're trying to get better mental health, you have to work hard on it every day. It's constant. What are you doing each and every day to better yourself, to better your mental health, right? Some days that looks different than others, right? Some day that's just getting out of bed or making our bed or taking a shower or having one meal, right? Other days it looks different. Other days we're crushing our to-do list, all these things. But that's still hard work in terms of what you're capable of in that moment. So that's a prerequisite to becoming good at anything, no matter what your level is right now or what your area is that you're trying to push through. And so that's a prerequisite. And so what are the other factors that are available for us to now become peak performers, right? A lot of those is community or connection aspect, a mindfulness practice or meditation practice, support groups or peers, the mental skills that we develop. And then I think the big one is the whole recovery aspect of everything. And so sleep is important. That's all there is to it. Like, exhaustion suppresses your potential. Just because you're not sleeping and you're grinding and you think you're outworking everyone, you're really putting your body at a lower level to become a peak performer. And so sleep is important for a number of reasons. One is that during sleep, especially REM sleep, the brain auto-cleans itself, right? It flushes out these things, it reduces cognitive load, and it just auto-cleans itself at night. And so that's an important thing, right? It also is good because we have to recover. We have to allow our bodies and brains to our brain doesn't really turn off during sleep, but our bodies do, and the consciousness does. And so it allows us to rejuvenate. And so if we want to perform at a high level every single day, the 8 hours of sleep that we get at night is crucial to be able to wake up fresh, energized, motivated to put in another day's work of whatever you're doing. And so since sleep is part of high performance, right, there's a few things that you can look at in terms of sleep to figure out how you can better manage it, right? So I'm going to give you kind of a few tips here of how to look at sleep in a different way. So you want to reframe sleep like Tetris reframe, right? Because a lot of times we just are stacking things on top of each other instead of kind of Tetrising it and fitting things into the nooks and crannies and where they go. And so you can do that with sleep. You can Tetris reframe that, and you can forecast your sleep. You know, it's really good to set a time when you're going to go to bed and set a time when you're going to wake up. Like, those are two things that you can forecast sleep. And you want to plan kind of your trips and vacations and things around sleep so that you know that you're getting a good amount so you can perform on your best level. Even on vacation, when you're going to just rest and relax, it's important to forecast that sleep, because now you want to get even better sleep, you know, because you want to come back from that vacation rejuvenated, revived. But we want to feel that energized every day in our lives, so we have to forecast our sleep. And then we want to build a good sleep culture. We want to put stuff in our room that allows for that sleep to happen. It's important that when we get into our bed, we know that our bed is for very few amount of things, right? It's for sexual interactions and it's for sleep. That's what happens in our bed, and that's what our bedroom needs to be for. So we need to put stuff in here that allows for that. You know, you want blackout curtains in your room. I don't even have those. So I'm just learning all of this stuff. So I'm trying to also implement that into my life, because I'm learning all of this stuff as I go. And in being a coach, I'm trying to learn more so I can learn myself and also present it to the people that I work with. And it's really diving into how important sleep is, right? You want to set your room up for that. You want to, you know, like, not eat 2 hours before bed. Make sure you're limiting your water intake so you don't have to pee during the night, so you're not messing up the flow of your REM sleep. You want to put your phone down and not look at screens an hour before you get to bed. You know, you want to say if you're in bed for 9 total hours, you want 8 of those hours to be of sleep. So you're doing a little light stuff before you get into bed, maybe reading, maybe meditating, maybe winding down, and then allowing your body just to gently fall off into sleep and get that good 7 to 8 hours of rest. We just want to minimize the time that we're awake while in bed. That's important. So three main components of good sleep are fixed wake and sleep timing, right? Sleep composition, like being able to monitor your sleep channels, and there's apps and things you can get for that to monitor your REM sleep and where you're getting deep sleep and things you might be able to do to kind of figure that out. And you want to get 7 to 8 total hours. Again, right, if you're in bed for 8 total hours, you want to get 8 hours of sleep. You want to minimize the time spent awake while you're in bed, so you can reinforce to your brain that when I'm in my bed or I'm in my bedroom, the bed is used for, sexual intimacy and sleep, right? We're tricking our brain into that, right? So we're watching TV on the couch, or we're doing other stuff like that. And we get into our bed, our body kind of figures out, okay, now it's time to wind down. I'm winding down, I'm reading, I'm slowly breathing, and I'm falling asleep. So we can get to sleep when we're in bed. Okay, so that's important. Sleep is important. Yeah. So I'm learning this stuff from this training course that I'm currently taking called Zero to Dangerous. It's a course put on by the Flow Research Collective. They're a collective of doctors and psychologists and peak performers and people interested in human development, on how we can get into the flow state more often. And the flow state is the optimal state that a human being can be in. It's kind of the feeling that you have where you kind of, if you're an athlete or you've ever driven a car and you kind of don't really remember how you got there, you just got there, that was the flow state. You're not thinking about anything. It becomes muscle memory. It's automatic. We're completely in the zone. We're completely present. Everything feels easy and fluid. That's the flow state. And there's things you can do in your life to trigger the flow state more often. And so this course is very similar to the mindset training course I did from Dr. Michael Gervais, but this is just a little bit more in depth, and it goes deeper into all of these practices. It goes into the neurochemistry, the neurobiology, the physiology, the psychology of all of these things that allow us to become peak performers and high performers on a regular basis, to be more efficient, more productive, better handle our time management, more organization, and more flow. And so sleep and recovery are an integral part of that. And so implementing some of these things can allow you to sleep more effectively and efficiently, so we can wake up recovered. And another part of sleep or recovering is moving well and eating well and thinking well. So you want to sleep well, eat well, think well, and move well, are all part of a strong recovery regimen that allows for actual hard work, not just like this pseudo grind stuff that this culture is predicated on, like actual real hard work where we're efficient and productive in the time that we work hard. Because if I'm working for 10 hours and I'm distracted for 8 of those, and really I'm only working for 1 or 2 hours, why not try to trigger my flow state so I can work efficiently and effectively for 4 hours, get 10 times more done, and then have the rest of the day to do whatever I want, to do activities that I enjoy, to hang out with friends, to hang out with loved ones, to cultivate relationships, to travel, right? So the idea is that we're becoming more efficient and effective in these things that allow for peak performance. And it all starts with here, our mindset, our mental training, our mental skills, our mental health. And it comes with taking an inventory on our life, where we're currently at, having an honest look at that, and then understanding and mapping out where we want to go. So I'm not going to give you every tidbit of information that I learned from the Flow Research Collective, but you're going to get all of the stuff that I'm consuming and that resonates with me in a deep and powerful way, and I'm going to share it with you, just like I'm going to share it with my clients, so I can train them better, and I can resonate with them on a deeper level, and I can feel what they're feeling, so I can understand that, and I can share that with them, and we can grow to become peak performers and peak coaches and peak athletes and peak, high performing people more often, right? And so there is that. That's kind of just what I wanted to generally touch on about sleep. And like I said, these episodes aren't going to be long. They're just going to be real tight tidbits of information, anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes, so it's easily digestible. You can listen to it on your way to work, or you can do it at home where you're sitting down. You can take notes and you can write these things down so you can implement them in your daily lives. And so I'm pumped about these. I'm pumped about all the stuff that I'm learning and able to share with the people in my life and the people that I work with and the people that work with me. And so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you want further information, or you want book recommendations or podcast recommendations, or things that I've studied and have certifications in, or studied or got degrees in, whatever the case may be, is let me know. I'm more than happy to share that information. The more knowledge I can share with you guys, the more knowledge you can share with the people around you, then we can all be a service for good, and the world can be a happier, healthier place. So that's kind of it. That's all I got for today. I'm going to leave you with this take-home note, is that go out, sleep the competition. And I don't mean staying in bed all day. I mean that in prioritizing your recovery, prioritizing yourself, and making a recovery and sleep part of becoming the best version of yourself. So we're recovered. Our brain can auto-clean at night, and we can reduce our cognitive load, and so that we can be more efficient and more effective during the day, and we have more space and capacity for ourselves and to be a service to others. So prioritize yourself first, and by prioritizing yourself, you will then prioritize what you need, and what you need is rest and recovery to be able to perform at your best. And performing at your best is whatever that means in the domain that you exist in, and whatever that those words mean to you, fit it for your life, and then take a deeper dive into what it means and how you can implement some of these factors, and then come to me and ask me if you need any more help, any more guidance, any more resources, and I'm more than happy to present those to you, or we can have a one-on-one conversation. DMs are open. There's a contact page on jacksonstone.net or on jacksontalkseverybody.com. I have a number that you can text. It's on my social media, as well as signing up for my Patreon, where we do some monthly hangouts, and some one-on-one stuff is available as well. So thank you for listening. I appreciate you very much. Hope whatever time that you're listening to this, you decide that you want to have a good night's sleep tonight and start prioritizing yourself, and not prioritizing being exhausted or grinding or burnout, but giving yourself what you need and taking an inventory and allowing yourself to get those things and take what you need and go for there to live your happiest, healthiest, most fulfilling, purposeful life. So thanks for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, night, wherever you're at, and share this with a friend. Cheers.